8 months later, roughly, but it's technically kind of already finished before then, at least conceptually. Played it with proxies and stuff, but these are the real cards that you will see today, and I'll try to do my best of an explanation. It is reality chip, and people will just say that's just a artifact combo deck. Well, it is. I mean, that's you choose a commander to build off its ability, and its ability with Sensei's top and a reducer, cast reducer, allows you to draw your whole deck if you want. I built reality chip a little bit differently. I didn't just combo and draw the whole deck with Sensei's top and then Aetherflux Reservoir people. I didn't choose to go that way. Although even by going that way, you still kind of have to do what I did for this, which is you still had to refresh your deck because you're only drawing about 100 cards, so you don't have quite enough to kill 3 people. So you have to refresh and redraw your deck to do it again somehow. So I've never seen anyone really kind of explain exactly how they do it, but I'll show you how I found out a way to do that. So I do draw the whole deck, of course, by design, and I play out all my artifacts, sack them, and refresh my graveyard back into my library with Elixir of Immortality, and then draw it all again. But the reason why I'm doing that is different, so I won't go too much further in depth. I'll show you the meat and bones that you need, obviously. So again, there's the commander. And so you'll need your counter spells. There's those in removal. So you have your 1 mana creature removal or a little bit extra, and then non-creature removal. Counterbalance may not be like, this is not necessarily a CDH deck per se, I'll say that, although you can play it at that level, but you'll have to rely more on counterspells and removal, and I kind of went with the optimal options for counterspells. I didn't really go for those like stifling, they have to pay 1 extra or 3 extra kind of counterspells, although sometimes those can be good. I found them a little finicky, and I don't count on their reliability with the just pay an additional cost feature to them. I kind of want an exact function of a removal spell. So this is just a little stacks piece you're kind of going to try and manipulate the top of your deck with Sensei's top, so counterbalance isn't the worst thing. And so you'll probably get a player or two counter a spell or here or there. But then, of course, you have counterspell, the nice Japanese version, negate. So it's kind of only for non-creature spells, and it's 2 mana, but I did feel like I needed something extra to, be able to just have an additional way of countering. So negate to me was a better option than the stifling counterspells. Arcane Denial, I don't really want to give my opponent's card draw, but sometimes kind of necessary. Mana Drain, I wish it would have been the textured foil. I had it at one point, but I couldn't hold on to it. So I just got to be happy that I got this, But then Force of Negation, traded this from a friend. Fierce Guardianship, Force of Will. I like the old Vampiric Tutor from Vision, so I feel like there's no real necessity to pay for an exorbitant Force of Will. So the old I think that's Alliance, is still pretty cool. Art's pretty nice. And then, so you get out of your counterspell removal type effects, and then you go into your actual spot removal. And of course, I have Cyclonic Rift in here, so it's kind of really the only board wipe I run. But there's, again, we'll get further down, and there's a Mystical Tutor. So if you need to find Cyclonic Rift a little bit more faster for whatever reason or something, there's that. But again, so removal, so you have your 1-mana removal, Rapid Hybridization, Pongify, Witness Protection. It's not a perfect removal, but it does at least eliminate the creature's effects for a time being. But they can usually sack it, like if you're in black or something. So not perfect, but I do run, and which you'll see, the Moon one. But and then 2-mana removal, Reality Shift, and Resculpt. You're giving your opponents some beefy things, but or Manifest, but sometimes you have to get rid of whatever piece it is. Raven Form, so this kind of goes with my Mana Rock of Liquid Metal Torque in here. So if I need to target something, a permanent that I can't target, I can use Liquid Metal Torque to turn into an artifact and then exile it with this. So that's kind of why I run Raven Form. It's kind of niche, but it's still pretty cool. MDFC, it's not a good way of removal, but if you're already like set on lands, it's, as an MDFC, so that's pretty good, right? Imprison the Moon is what I was talking about. That's a little bit more when they get their permanent turned into a land. It's unless they have Strip Mine, which you should run a Strip Mine, but it's a little more difficult. It's not going to just be readily sackable in most cases. I mean, Get Rug players or something, I guess, do stuff with lands too. But yeah, and then we have Control Magic, because maybe you want to steal something that's beneficial to you. There's another pseudo way of doing this also in here, but Control Magic is pretty useful if you're like kind of on the back foot and you need a way to prevent them from getting their stuff back, or at least force them to use a removal spell on their own thing. So it's something. And then of course Cyclonic Rift. And the deck is not like as decked out as my Shieldred one, which go check that out. It's a good Shieldred deck in my opinion. But yeah, they all are the real cards. See, some of them are double sleeved. The light is glinting off of them. It's the actual card and everything. It's just a heuristic study, and I like the Judge promo one, and I had it. It's too expensive to hold on to, too expensive a card, and yeah, the basic heuristic study is good enough. So of course, pay the one. And then Days Undoing. It's not really ideal because you're giving everyone a fresh hand, but if you have to because you kind of ran out of options or something, it might be beneficial. There's enough tutors in here to find what I need, so I don't really rely heavily on card draw, other than the combo itself, kind of, which is what I'm going for, but in some circumstances, I mean, got to fill appropriate space in here too. So, and then of course there's a Windfall. They're not all like that, but so One Ring, I chose to take out Mr. Gamora. I mean, CDH players will probably, chime the benefits of Mystic Remora more so over this. I mean, of course, Mystic is 1 versus this is 4, but it gives you protection for a turn, so you're going to be playing it later anyways, more than likely, and I don't really need a whole lot of cards, but if I do, it's good to get there as fast as I can with it. And like I said, I will be sacrificing all the artifacts on my board as well to refresh my deck. So there is a way to get rid of this, so I'm not going to hopefully die to it. Although there is no real life gain in this deck. So you are kind of running on your own clock. You do have to make the most of what you're doing. And I mean, there's always a pitfall somewhere to any game plan of a deck, more often than not. So let's keep going. Modify memory, which is that other version of control magic. So you get some card draw out of it, and you swap two creatures. So you could take control of something. It doesn't really give you the card draw then, but you can also just screw up some players' game plans. So I thought that was pretty good. And I didn't really like the card draw options in blue, as you're going to see the Path of Enigma. They're not great, but I found these next two to be more so good enough at the point of where you're going to need cards anyways to kind of refuel. So like I said, it's 5 mana, it draws 4. The other effect is for planar chaos and stuff like that. Plane chase, I guess. So not great for 5 mana for only 4 cards, but that's the best I could find out of everything. And same with Tidings. Tidings is a 5 mana double pip though, but it also draws 4 cards. So kind of lackluster in the card draw department to some extent, but we make that up with tutors and mainly that. But yeah, the card draw is good enough usually. But then we go to tutors, like I was saying. So you have your mystical tutor to find Cyclonic Rift, or really any of the other tutors in here. So if you need to find Weir of Invention or something like that, you can use Mystical Tutor for that. So, of course, Reshape is another. You're trying to find Sensei's Top or a mana reducer, cast reducer, so you can get to the combo sooner. So there's enough tutors in here that it's kind of supersedes how much card draw you really need, because it will get you there. So then, of course, there's a Fabricate, Trinket Mage for finding top, Loyal Inventor, any artifact. And so kind of a little bit better than the next two. Tribute Mage for a 2 cost, Trophy Mage for a 3 cost. Weir of Invention, usually if I use it, it's either 4 or 5 mana, either finding top or a reducer. Tezzeret, it gets you the artifact. You can use him to tutor to get it, the artifacts onto your board right away. So it's like Weir of Invention. So it's not bad. It's almost like a second Weir of Invention, although of course he will get attacked, but you should be able to pop them off right away to get what you need. So, and then we're at the mana reducers, cast reducers, I guess. So Ethereum Sculptor, and you have to reconfigure Reality Chip. So it is sometimes good to have a creature cast reducer, but there are ways. I did put a way in here to protect it a little bit, but it is, like I said, it's kind of finicky. You got to protect yourself with the counter spells, removal, whatever you can. Kind of just gauge it as it goes. It's not a perfect always win deck, unfortunately, but it is. I do like it when you see the rest of it. When we get past to the staple parts of what you need, which is what I've been discussing, you'll see how I facilitated the win. So we'll just go through the cast reducers. Helm of Awakening, it reduces other opponents' costs, so be careful of that. Semblance Anvil, you can get artifact, like if you put Ethereum Sculptor under Semblance Anvil, you get artifact and creature, so that's better. I'm not really I'll have to calculate here in a second. But then Cloud Key, reduce of 1, Foundry Inspector, reduce of 1, Drawers Familiar. I don't really like the higher cost version cast reducers, but you kind of need all of them, really, or at least a good majority, just in case they get removed themselves or board wipes or whatever else happens. You have some backups. Stone Calendar, like I said, it's expensive, but it does a trick, and because it's not a creature, kind of can stick around a little bit better for you. And then the Immortal Sun. This is also another card draw option I put in here, so I kind of kept it over here because it's mainly for the cost reduction and just perchance. I mean, I only run Tezzeret, so I mean, for me, it's not such a downside to hose Planeswalkers if I need to or something. And so we have and then there's Urza, but we have a reduction. It doesn't really matter. It's substantial enough. 1, 2, say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have a reduction of about 9. Semblance Anvil, you get creature reduction too, so it's kind of, you get an additional reduction if you do it right on creatures, not just artifacts, but a reduction of 9 almost. So that's enough to play pretty much everything in here. We'll get to the rocks also here in a second, which is actually why Urza is a placeholder there. I really use Urza once I draw my whole deck and I can play the things I need to play. I only use him as basically a mana rock, although, you know, some scenarios you'll draw him early and you have to play him, and he can be kind of beneficial with the construct maker and then just give you some more mana options. But what I use him for is to facilitate more blue mana, because my rocks aren't going to make all the blue mana for me, but he can make my rocks do that if I need to. So, and you'll see why. But then, of course, we have Mox Amber, Mox Opal. It is real, not foil, but still cool. And I got all these because if I did want to enter in to a tournament, which I have, but although, like I said, it's not really as good at CEDH as you would think. I mean, it kind of can do some stuff because of the countering and whatnot, but yeah. So Soul Ring, Mana Rocks, Mana Vault, Arcane Signet, the Liquid Metal Torque I was talking about. I also use it for my Sculpting Steel, which you see next, my clones, so that I can make more copies of things with Sculpting Steel, besides just I can turn any permanent into an artifact and clone it if I need to. So just gives you more versatility. So that is cast reducers and rocks. We're kind of getting into how I built the deck now. The lands are at the back. They're not snow-covered lands right now. Like I said, not fully decked out as I'd like, but I wanted to get the gist of how I build the deck. So it's kind of where we're going next. So clones. You need clones. Put an extra one in here. You'll see that's a mana rock, but that's a kind of a placeholder. So I put clones in here. There's also Mycosynth Gardens, but you can't quite rely on the Mycosynth Gardens as much because you might have already played a land that turn. So when you go infinite to draw your whole deck, which actually there's Emery, Lurker of the Lock, so I want to leave 4 cards at the bottom of my deck, but try to help you understand where I'm going here. But so I gave 1 extra clone if I need to have a workaround during the mid game where I might have not got what I need, and so I'm trying to make do and I need some sort of defense, so I need to clone something. So kind of did that, but those are the clones and a Mycosynth Gardens. And so you see a Mana Rock and you see Emery. Mirror and Spy, plus Emery and Lotus Petal allow you to make infinite blue mana. So I'm not relying on just the cast reducers and my rocks. So I use my cast reducers, which once I draw my deck, I play those first, and then I play all my rocks, and then I use my rocks to play Urza, and then I use Urza because I only need 2 blue mana for him, and with Semblance Anvil, I get a creature reduction cost, hopefully, so he's only 2 blue mana, so I use Arcane Signet and a Mox Opal or whatever, and then I can use the rest to make blue mana to cast these dudes, and then when I have these two, you go infinite with the Lotus Petal because you use Emery to cast the Lotus Petal back from your grave once you sack it, and then Mirror and Spy untaps Emery, so you can just keep sacking the Lotus Petal and do it again. So you need that to facilitate the remainder of how I combo with the deck. So that's just like a separate infinite that goes there. So then you have one of the things you want to play actually almost right away. You'll have the reducer, so it only costs 1, is Altar of the Brood. This is a Japanese version. So what Altar of the Brood does is every permanent I play, my opponents have to mill a card. So as I play my whole deck out, and I will sack what I don't need with the infinite mana with Claws of Gix. That's part of the combo piece you'll need. And then I refresh with Elixir of Immortality, my own stuff to do it all over again, to recast stuff that's reduced. And so I'm milling my opponents out completely, and then I exile all their graveyards, so they have no library, no cards, hopefully. So basically, once I draw my whole deck, you needed to stop me before that, because I have basically the remainder of my counter spells to stop you from interacting with me at that point. And then I play Altar the Brood. Most people concede once I elaborate to this point. They go, "Oh, you exiled my whole deck, I'll concede." But it actually goes a little bit further. So that's kind of the reason why I'll link the deck list on Moxfield, but this is why I call it Sensei Top and the Mutant Turtles, because Kappa Cannoneer, Turtle, and Sensei's Top and Reality Chip. So I don't know. So what I do is I play Kappa Cannoneers, and I can keep cycling through my deck, recasting artifacts, making him infinitely large, and he's unblockable, and he has ward. And then the Lightning Greaves is an additional thing to protect him, but I can't use him to kill the whole table, so that's what the clones are for. So you have him as a base, and then you have Lightning Greaves as a base. That's to give him haste, not really additional protection, but it does work that way. And then you have one extra, and you have the Mycosynth Garden, so you can kind of debate that. But 2 clones for 2 Lightning Greaves and 2 clones. So this is artifact, non-land permanent, and Glasspool Mimic, a creature. So this could be for him, and that could be for him. And then, so I guess, but you also have Claws of Gix, so you can sacrifice, if you did play a clone already, you can use Claws of Gix to sacrifice one of the artifacts or one of your clones already to reclone Kappa Cannoneers or Lightning Greaves. And then you have a team of 3 turtles that can go after your opponents to once, of course, like I said, they'll probably concede after having no deck, but the actual nail in the coffin is I also eradicate your life total with a exuberant power toughness turtle. So there's that. And then just going over the lands now, we finally made it into the 30-minute mark almost. So that's good because that's when this cuts out. So you got your fetches, 5 fetches, and then your utility lands. This Inventor's Fair isn't really ideal as a tutor. I need it to be the artifact blue land. So I was missing that, but it's kind of a holding spot. Urza Saga to find senseis, Ancient Tomb, Buried Ruin, get stuff back, Academy Ruins, get stuff back, Mystic Sanctuary, kind of the same deal, but with instant sorceries, the Mycosynth Gardens I was talking about. Strip Mine in case somebody moons you or druids my reality chip to turn them into a forest land or something. So, and then my islands. So, but yeah, sure, it is an artifact Timmy deck in some sense, but I mean, I chose due to the ability of what the commander was, and really, I actually didn't want to build reality chip right away. I was trying to build a Jin-Gitaxias Progress Tyrant deck, but he's just too costly, and this was a better option. So when I figured kind of out how I wanted to do this, I was like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. So I went in this direction. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to see how I combo out with reality chip, and I have 2 other decks coming in the future when I can get around to it, but it took 8 months to get here, so it's more so just recording time now, and I can't just spend all my time doing that. I gotta mix and match things, so going and doing what I can when I can. All right, catch you around.